Here we have the new AirWave Dental 3 system which you've just received. As you can see, it's a neat compact system ready to unpack, switch on and use. On the front panel you can see on the left hand side we have a 3-in-1 nozzle. You have water, air, or if you combine the two buttons together you get a fine mist to spray. The next handpiece we have here is your polishing head, ready for PROPHY angles to be connected to. And the final handpiece is your high-speed dental drill. If you turn the system round, you'll see that there's a compressor in the back of it, and we have two electrical leads. One of them is the power supply for the DTED 3 scaler system, which I'll show you in a moment, and the other is the power supply which operates the compressor. To start the system up, all you do is plug the compressor in. If the gauge on the front, if the dial on the front isn't already in the automatic switch position and it's in the off switch position, you need to turn it on to automatic. You will then hear the compressor starting to run and pressure building up in the bottom gauge. As this switch here is in the off position, you will get no pressure through into the dental system. Allow the pressure to build up in here for a while, and then if you turn this dial on, you'll see you get pressure build up on this gauge here. All the pressures are already preset, so there's no need to alter as of when you receive the system. Once the compressor reaches full capacity, it'll switch off, it'll be totally Along with every dental system that we send out a full instruction manual with it, which is really worth reading. There's some handy hints and tips about oiling handpieces, setting pressures, operating the system, certain faults you will find, position of switches, PROPHY angles, etc, etc. Also, along with that, we also supply a daily, weekly and annual maintenance schedule, which is also worth adhering to. Basically what I've told you on a daily basis: clean and lubricate the handpieces, clean and lubricate the motor, drain and depressurize the water bottle. Then on a weekly basis it's worth emptying the compressor. I'll show you around the back. Do this. Sometimes due to the nature of compressed air, water can accumulate in the vessel here, so it's better off to switch the system off at the end of every week and release the air out of the vessel. You see this is just a blank end. You can place it into a kidney tray or a cup or some vessel just to see if there's any water comes out. Release all the air out, any water that comes out with it, and then screw the valve back on, and then you are ready basically to operate the next time you want to use it, whether it be the next day or the following. As you can see, the compressor already comes completely filled with oil to its correct level, as you can see on there, the red line. If you ever need to top the oil up, which is very rarely but worth checking on a weekly basis, you will find there is a bottle here with some excess oil in from the original filling up of the compressor, which you can use. We also supply oil, but most of the time the oil level should never really need to be filled. And as you can see on here, it says check the oil level once a week, just to make sure that the oil level is. As well as the chassis and the dental system, you would also get an ultrasonic scaler which comes packaged in a box. What you'll find inside the box is the scaling unit, a foot pedal which will allow you to operate the system, and a handpiece which clips neatly onto the side. To connect the dental system, it's just a case of connecting the two water pipes together at the back of the system like this. You need to plug your foot pedal into the back of the system, and the power supply lead, which is in the back of here, which fits neatly through the gap, that also connects into the back of the 24-volt supply, and that is your scaler attached and ready to use. This is the polishing handpiece, as I explained earlier. Certain components you need to be aware of this is the bottom ring needs to be either fully in one direction or the other. If you leave it in the middle position, it will not operate. Similarly, on the top you will find that there's a lock position which allows you to remove and replace your PROPHY head, and it's just a simple matter of lining up the notch in there, clipping that over, and that's locked in position. So once that's locked in position, And once that's located in one direction, you can then put your Prophy cup on there, and by operating the foot pedal, the polisher is ready to use. The dental high-speed drill detaches from the hose. This allows for cleaning. As you can see, this is the base of the high-speed drill. You'll see a series of holes in the bottom. The smaller of the two large holes is the air intake to the drill. This, when you require to put oil in, this is where you are going to put the few drops of oil in. This is the exhaust, the larger one, and the two smaller holes are actually for your water supply. All of them need to be kept clean and tidy to stop any blockages in the system. So that's the base of that explained. You will also notice on most ones that we supply now, you have an LED. This is self-generated. This works as and when you apply air pressure to the foot pedal. The air pressure generates the LED and also the water. So once you have your switch forward, that switch to the right, this valve open, the machine is on, you have water in the bottle, you are ready to use the high-speed drill. The high-speed drill spins up to 400,000 revs, more than adequate for what any dental work is needed. This is controlled by the foot pedal. By pressing the foot pedal, the drill will rotate, the light will come on, and a very fine spray will come out of the dental drill. When operating this drill at its maximum speed, by operating the foot pedal, this gauge here should go no higher than 30 to 32 psi on the black gauge on the outside. Any higher could create damage with the valves inside the system, and also damage with the cartridge in the end of here. Any lower, it may not operate, the light may not come on, and there may not be enough water pressure to operate the spray within this, as it would drop down below 15. The valves will shut off inside and it won't operate. Underneath the control panel, you will see a series of switches. The left hand switch here is basically for water on and off. If it's in the backward position, the water is off. The forward position, the water is on. The middle switch decides which tool you are going to use. If it's flicked over to the left like it is now, it allows you to use your polishing head. If it's moved over to the right, it allows you to use your dental high-speed drill. The little valve on this end is your water flow. If it's turned in that position, the water flow will be zero, you'll get no water flow. The more you turn it around in this position, the greater the flow you will get from your dental high speed. We recommend that it's usually 1.5 turns, and that is adequate for the dental. Before you actually fill the system with air, I would advise you to leave this valve switched off in the off position, which is horizontal, which will allow you to actually fill your water bottle with purified water. We recommend purified water as it's easier for the system and it creates less problems in the future. So you would fill your water bottle as to the level you think you would need, screw the top back on, and make sure it's tight. You can feel it tightening up because there's a seal on the top, you feel it, and hang that back on the bracket, making sure you don't trap the pipes. Then you can go back around the back and switch the system on like this. You'll see this gauge will go up to a certain value. I would tend not to worry about these because you never really need to adjust them, they are all preset. You are now ready to operate the dental system. As I explained earlier, when you remove the drill bit at the end of the shift to clean it, it's best initially to remove all of the water out of the bottle. You can do that by turning the air off and releasing the air pressure. Most of the time it's just as easy to press the air valve, or sometimes you can crack the top of the bottle, the thread on the top of the bottle, which will allow it to release the air. Remove all the water, put the empty bottle back onto the system and switch the compressor back on. You then now need to press the water supply to blow all the water out of the system, both by using the 3-in-1 valve, and also when you have this connected, you can also use the foot pedal, which will exhaust all of the water out of the handpiece, which is quite important because water lying around will cause corrosion within the handpiece. So once you've removed the handpiece and you've dried it, there's no water in, it's just a matter of using the bottle supplied in the kit that comes with it, placing 2 to 3 drops of oil into the port as shown on the base of the handpiece. Screw the handpiece back into position and then operate the handpiece. That will allow the air to blow oil around the cartridge head and into the bearings, lubricating them for the next time you use the handpiece. What we also supply at Vet Direct is handpiece oil spray and a nozzle attachment. This is basically for your polishing head. This part of the polisher, which is the main polishing head, once you've unlocked it, pops off like that. This is what we would class as your air motor, and very expensive item to repair or replace, really needs taking care of. In the bottom of that you can see how it attaches, which then goes up through here in a series of gear. It allows the PROPHY angle to rotate, and at the end of every shift, as well as your high-speed handpiece, you insert this in there, press the button, that will release a certain amount of oil, which allows the bearings to be lubricated. What I tend to do after that is I would stand it on some kitchen roll just to allow the excess oil to drain off, ready for use the next day. We do recommend that you do actually lubricate this motor very, very slightly, not as much as the dental handpiece. Again, as you can see, the whole configuration is the same, 1 or 2 drops maximum in there. The problem with this, what we would have is there's a series of veins inside of here. If too much oil or excess oil is being applied, the oil will stick to the veins, causing the motor to malfunction. So that's why I would suggest standing that on a kitchen roll to allow that to dry, rather than allow the excess oil to run. Various issues we have experienced in the past with customers calling regarding the system being faulty could vary from very simple things that the mains power supply is plugged into the wall but not switched on, which doesn't allow the compressor to operate. Somebody has switched the valve off, so there's no air pressure coming through to the dental handpieces on the front. Sometimes we've had a situation where the handpieces have been put on incorrectly, so the high-speed drill is actually being connected to this hose and vice versa. That will create a situation where you will get no water through the high-speed drill because it's connected to the polisher handpiece hose, where there is no water coming through. Also, problems is people have leakages on this bottle. You need to make sure that when it's removed there is a seal under here, that the seal is clean and the seal is neat and tidy, and it stops any leakages. And also be aware that these are very fine, delicate pipes, and sometimes they can quite easily get trapped within the system. Also, as I explained earlier, when you're operating the high-speed drill, the pressure needs to be around about 30. Any higher it could create problems, any lower it could create problems. And also you need to make sure that the compressor auto on-off button is actually in the auto position.